Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
This is impossible. Listen to me. This is impossible what we deal with on a daily basis. You could suck at your job. For example, the Baltimore Orioles are not very good. Teams lose a ton of games because they are horrendous at what they do. The way the Phillies lose, it's so gut-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. Bryce Harper with a huge bomb in the ninth off Jensen, and you're like, yes! Let's go! Let's take the first two games of this damn series on the road. And with the blink of an eye, here comes Joe Girardi putting back out Nick Nelson. What did I just say? What, a day ago? A day ago, I'm saying stop putting guys up and down. What are we doing here? You're putting guys in a position to fail nonstop. I don't know how you go into a game without having your top relievers available. There's no way in hell Sir Anthony Dominguez is not allowed to throw today. I'm sorry, that is called malpractice. That is called not doing your job well enough. Your bullpen players should be able to go. It's sloppy what it is. It's sloppy management that you can't find a way to have Sir Anthony Dominguez available for you tonight. All right, so Sir Anthony Dominguez pitched one inning May 19th. He was off May 20th. He pitched one inning May 21st. He pitched one inning May 22nd. He was off May 23rd. So you're telling me he had a day off, pitched one inning in 2 straight days, had a day off, and he can't pitch again today. That is garbage. And instead, the alternative is this. Now, I'm hearing, we did have Alvarado. No. I'll take Nick Nelson over Alvarado any day of the week. But you should never be in a spot where these are your options. It is a terrible job managing your bullpen. Decisions 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, it all snowballs into the mess that we are experiencing right now, and it flat out cannot happen. I don't want to hear that it's too early. This is what happens when you don't have them. You are paying the price by losing games. So what's it matter? What's game 142? What's game 141? What's game 139? If you're pissing away golden opportunities to win games now. Do you see, Joe? Do you see how that goes? So it's not only just what happened late. It's going to Norwood instead of Bellotti. Yeah, let's go with the 7+ ERA instead of a 2.31 ERA. And he did a fantastic job keeping the game afloat and keeping you involved, where Norwood couldn't even get it out. I mean, you're watching disgraceful display, and Bellotti comes in and does a good job. It's almost as if you should have went to him earlier. And there's an argument to be made on why that should have been the case from the rip. This isn't no Monday morning quarterback type of thing. In the moment, we're all screaming, Joe, this is outrageous. Now, in theory, I would have loved more from Kyle Gibson, right? But he gave you a very veteran battle today. 5 innings, a bunch of strikeouts in the 4th inning to get Ronald Acuna Jr. on that inside pitch that caught the inside part of the plate. Wow, that was beauty. Did have a lot of strikeouts today. Like, he was working hard, threw a ton of pitches. I would have loved for him to find a way to get to 6, but, he kept you afloat, too. You think of the 2 earned runs in the 5 innings. Now you pass it along. Sometimes that type of stuff happens, and I'll say the difference in being a veteran and not a veteran is, if you're not experienced, you're probably going 3 2/3. You're probably going 4. To grind out to get to 5, I thought was pretty damn important. Just imagine looking at how this team blew up and looking at how this team completely lost it towards the end. Imagine if you had to find one more inning out of that pen. It would have been a horrible watch, even though it already was a horrible watch. And it's just hard for me to even fathom. It's hard for me to even speak speak. It's hard for me to even exist. It's hard for me to even embrace this damn team on a night-to-night basis. I didn't even get to Roman Quinn and Nick Castellanos out in left center field where it's clearly the center field's ball. I mean, that was tragic. That is Bush League baseball, Little League baseball, which is what this team does all the time. There were plenty of other chances to get on the board, though. JT Realmuto had bases loaded. He couldn't execute. Nick Castellanos, he looks horrible at the plate right now. He's swinging at pitches where, I mean, he's getting fooled. He's swinging. I mean, come on, dude. You look out of sync. I don't even remember the last time he hit a home run. So he left some runs on the board. This isn't Gene Segura's fault by any means, but the home run that didn't happen out in left field that would have been a home run in how many other ballparks, the dead ball going to the warning track, that stunk. But those were runs that you missed. It was about the 8th inning or so where Roman Quinn struck out when he had JT Realmuto get on board and Camargo, so you had 2 men on and Roman Quinn in the 8th. And speaking about that sequence, I don't know what's going through JT Realmuto's head because he rounded second. Was he going to make the third out at third base? Who knows? Knowing him, it was definitely on the table. But then he almost gets picked off at second base. He's leaning too much towards third. Luckily, the ball wasn't thrown. He had a nice play behind the dish. 2 nice plays, actually, making a throw to second base, and he shows his worth in that department. But I'm sorry, he seems lost, and he just seems all over the map. Has he had better swings at the plate as of late? Yes, he has. But still, I mean, the full package of JT, I still wonder, how is he this out of whack, and how is it this awful out of someone that you paid so much damn money for, and you had way higher expectations than the results that you're getting so far this season. And dating back to last year, it was terrible too. So, I mean, this team, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't fathom sitting through tomorrow. And do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to sit through this garbage. I'm going to do it again. And they're probably going to win. And then we'll be sitting here at the same exact time talking about how great it was. And if they could find a way to win that 4th game, how excellent of a series win that would be. But then they'd probably fall flat on their face in game 4 of this series. So it would be, wait for it, a 500 series, which is basically what this team is. But the problem is, while we keep getting 500 baseball year in and year out, it's how they get to 500. This, no way, shape, or form is this the way baseball is around Major League Baseball. You will have tough losses. You'll have a blown save. You'll have one that you need to get back tomorrow. The cliche answers that you get in the clubhouse, all of that is real. All of that is true. But when you study this team and these losses and the kick in the testicles night in and night out and how painful it is, I mean, these are disturbing every single game. 3 times a week, 4 times a week, you're getting hit with an uppercut in the jaw and your teeth's flying. I mean, seriously, it's a disgrace. If I'm Bryce Harper, I'm pissed off. The last time they had an egregious loss this way, he was loud, he was vocal, he held a meeting with the team, and then he came out big time off Max Scherzer and delivered a couple runs to help spark the club. He can only do so much, apparently, because when he puts the whole team on his back, somehow they still give it away. And realistically, they give it away because Joe Girardi doesn't know how to manage a bullpen at all. He doesn't know what he's doing. This isn't the first time we screamed, how is no one capable of throwing? Now, is this an organizational philosophy? Is he being told and informed to do it a certain way because they want to make sure their guys are healthy? Is this an organizational, analytical approach? And I thought Jim Salisbury had an excellent question towards Bryce Harper. Dude, you're playing with your torn UCL right now. You have a tear in your UCL. Think about what you're battling through. Does it get frustrating thinking about guys you can't play? Oh, it's baseball. It seems more egregious here than anywhere else. It seems we're constantly getting stuck in these problems more than anything else. Why? How? It's impossible. It's a joke. It really is. So let's look at Corey Knebel. who he didn't want to throw for 3 straight days. Part of their mindset. He threw 1 inning on May 22nd. He threw 1 inning on May 23rd. So he was used in 2 straight games. Could he have went a third? I think you got to try it. I'm sorry. You don't do up and down with these bullpen pitchers. He did it the other game. And it's like, hey, Connor Brogdon, excellent job. Maybe you could build some sort of confidence. I'm very proud of your accomplishments. And then here you can start the next inning. Oh, this is going poorly. I wonder why, Joe. This is not how you're supposed to use relievers. Do your job. Your job is now finished. You're trying to squeeze too much juice out of guys who realistically aren't barn burners here, okay? They're not ridiculous, unbelievable talents. So get what you can get out of them and stop being so greedy. Here's Alvarado. Here's Familia. I mean, the list goes on and on when he puts these guys in positions to fail. So May 12th, he threw 1 inning. That was 2 straight days because he threw the 11th and the 12th. He was off the 13th and the 14th. So 2 straight days. He was used the 15th for 2/3 of an inning. He was off the 16th. He was off the 17th. Then he pitched the 18th. He was off the 19th. He was off the 20th. He was off the 21st. So he was off 3 straight days. And he can't give us 3 straight outings where he's throwing 1 inning for these outings? Crazy, isn't it? It really is wild. And I'll get you the pitch count for those games as well because, of course, saying 1 inning doesn't tell the full story when you look at pitch counts. He threw 9 pitches against the Braves on Monday night, and against the Dodgers in the 4-3 win in extra innings, he threw 23. So that's a total of 32 pitches. But he was off 3 straight days before that. The logic is flawed. The logic is pathetic. And I'm sorry, but I can't do it. Something has to change, or you will constantly lose baseball games that you're not supposed to lose. What does it mean if the arms are ready and the arms can compete in August when you're not even there as a record to compete because you pissed away too many games in May, in June? And trust me, I feel like there is a line that could be drawn where there's validity to not wanting to blow out arms and not wanting to really give a guy too much. Or Anthony Dominguez, if you think about too much for him, knowing what type of wounds he's been going through and knowing that he had a lot of injuries and he's coming back and they're taking it slow. It's not as if I don't understand, but there's clearly a sign of babying these people too much that it has haunted you in the past, and we've seen it now. I've been around here breaking down these damn games day by day to know that this is a common theme that is unacceptable, that has to change. So while I do admit that I fully acknowledge certain players might take a little bit slower in between outings and you don't push the buttons as heavily and maybe you give them more time to breathe so they can get back on track and you don't overwork them. No doubt about it. This organization, whether it's Joe or analytically driven or whoever the case is, whatever, it has to change because this is costing you. This is loser baseball. This team loses. This team learns how to lose in different ways in all these different circumstances, and that's why you smell like trash. That's why you play like shit, because you are losers. That's what they are. You're losers. And here we are, May 25th. That's how long it took me. Really, it was after the Dodgers series. I mean, you win a game in exciting fashion, Roman Quinn, yada, yada, yada. And my takeaway was, I can't fucking take it anymore. I can't believe it anymore. It is garbage. That was my takeaway. Once I get there, you know I'm losing my mind. It's May 25th, and I'm seeing hot trash once again. And realistically, while I'm normally Mr. Optimistic and Mr. Wait it's turn to play out and give it some more time because there's so many games left to be played, and there is. I know there is. But I'm sorry. This is Phillies baseball. This is what we are accustomed to. It's what we see every year. And at some point, I can't keep being fooled. At some point, I've been fooled too many damn times, and I'm not going to be anymore. So until you prove me otherwise, I'm sorry. I can't fake it. And sometimes I like to be a little sarcastic and corny and funny in a silly way. Just busting chops and saying, you know, let's go Phils, no way they lose. All that fun stuff, right? Just being tongue-in-cheek. Can't even do that anymore. Once I'm losing that side of me, you know it's game over for sure. And it's painful. So, I mean, we're going back at it. Joe Girardi with a bunch of different bullpen decisions today really costed you. I thought you had some grade A scoring chances that you didn't score on. JT Realmuto striking out, Roman Quinn striking out, Nick Castellanos striking out. Bryce Harper tried to say, yo, fellas, follow my lead, whether it's a double after Alec Bohm doubles, whether it's tying the game up and then with a blink of an eye, Matt Olson hits the right field pole. That's when Norwood came in. How much life left does Norwood have here? You're already seeing reports about Bailey Falter and Christopher Sanchez, and, there's some speculation on something going there. There was also some news about Zach Eflin today, which after his 12 strikeout performance, there seems to be some communication between him and the team and a mutual option for next year. And good for him, because I think when he's locked in, he's dangerous. He still has his ups and downs, but all around, he's your back-end type of rotation guy, and, you need those roles filled, and his ceiling is higher than a back-end guy, and I'll take that any day of the week. But it's hard for me to pretend like right now I give a damn about Zach Eflin and his new contract, because that's the last thing on my mind. It doesn't matter. It has no relevance, because what's going to happen is, whoop-de-damn-do, Zach Eflin, you're going to have a nice day where you throw a nice 6 innings, 1 earned run, or you go 7 innings, 2 earned runs, and then Joe's going to say, well, we don't have Knable, we don't have Familia, we don't have Dominguez, we don't have the... Well, what do you have? What do you have, Joe? You going out there and throwing? We putting Roman Quinn on there, on the mound? We going a little position player? What are we doing here, Joe? What are we doing here, Joe? 2 weeks in, not firing Joe. At this point, he doesn't do anything special. He doesn't do anything that keeps his job. What's there to lose? This team's a bunch of losing right now. When you lose the way that you do, this team, right? This team specifically. Sorry, can't sit through it. Come on, Dave, you can't sit through it. So while Joe isn't my number one problem, I need Nick Castellanos hitting home runs. I need Kyle Schwarber not missing pitches and popping up instead of it being a deep drive to right field. I need Didi Gregorius back, who's a 280 hitter that somehow doesn't get the respect that he deserves. I would like some more power out of Alec Bohm, but he's doing just enough. Bryce Harper staying hot after not being in the lineup is needed. Rhys Hoskins hitting a home run would be nice. Those are clearly your number one problems. But at this point, give me something new. Jesus. All right, before we get to the phones, 856-442-9805, let me introduce you to a great friend of mine, and that great friend is Versus Game. It's a fantastic app that allows me and you to connect even closer than ever before. Here's how it works. The Phillies obviously have a big weekend series coming up in New York to face the Mets. What if I told you you can make money on questions that I come up with? For example, my question this week is, will Rhys Hoskins hit at least 1 home run in their 3-game set at Citi Field? Versus Game is an opportunity for you to make money from your knowledge. It's the app everyone is talking about because it lets you win money for being right. Imagine a social media feed where every video is a question with just 2 possible answers. You, as the player, can play these questions for free, or you could play with real money, $1 up to $100 per question. I'm a player as well, but I'm actually going to be coming up with fun questions for you. So go download the Versus Game app and follow me by typing Broads in your search bar. Make sure to play my question and other questions that you think you know the answer to. That's Versus Game, one word, so no space. The link is down below in the description. Absolutely check it out and make sure you follow me there and play along because we're going to have a ton of fun together. With that, I'll open up the phones, the chat line, the text message. There's a lot of different ways for you to climb into the conversation, but we'll kick things off here with Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, man? This game was such a severe indictment on Joe Girardi, with 2 of the most boneheaded decisions I've ever seen a manager make in regards to managing the bullpen. You bring in James Norwood, the guy who started the collapse against the Mets, a guy with a 70 ERA, and he's in a tie game on the road against a division rival. Inexcusable. Then you bring in Nick Nelson for another inning, when the guy's clearly guessed. He's not Mariano motherfucking Rivera, Joe. He has his limits, and you clearly don't realize that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it was Nick Nelson or any other relief pitcher. I'm done with this trash of letting someone actually complete a nice goal, complete a nice mission, get a couple of outs when you desperately needed it. That's awesome. Why are we trying to force more out of these players? He does it too much, where you got to recognize that, okay, you got what you got out of him. Now look in another direction, Joe. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to echo your point. And I've not been fired Joe this entire time he's been here. And a lot of people have been calling for his head. I've never done that. But at this point, like you mentioned earlier, what do you have to lose? What is Joe Girardi providing this team that cannot be, that is irreplaceable? The way I see it, the only thing that could possibly happen with firing Girardi is that it sparks the team and makes them go on a run. And you're certainly not going to get worse from firing Joe Girardi. Anyway, take care, Broads. I'm going to listen to Mr. Morale for the 5th time to take my mind off this.
Yeah, it's a nice album. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Yeah, you're not – I mean, you might be worse, but that's just because the players are worse, and that's what happens. If your players suck, you're not going to win. So, in theory, it could get worse technically. But, yes, you are correct, Jimmy, when you say that Joe isn't doing anything that's not replaceable. And when I get to my breaking point of screaming for firing people, you know that it's really going down south. I don't scream at it easily. I'm way more patient than most. I allow time to kind of dictate it all. And At this point, I'm sorry, this is the same. This is the same. We are watching the same exact team as we did under Gabe Kapler with those players. And I just want to be clear. At the end of the day, these players are in the box. JT Realmuto is striking out. JT Realmuto is underachieving. Nick Castellanos is underachieving. Kyle Schwarber is not hitting enough for us. He has a lot of home runs, but his overall play hasn't been good. I mean, you look at balls that fall into left field, and you wonder, early in this game, with Kyle Schwarber in left field, would that have been a totally different circumstance if it was somebody else out there who can actually play? That's not his fault. I mean, that's roster construction where Matt Klentak and Andy McPhail left the organization before Dave Dombrowski picked it up. Bryce Harper being injured, just changes how everything plays out because your corner outfielders are stuck in left field and right field. So I'm just saying, though, all of this needs to change for you to be not what it has been, but it's the style. It's the style of their failures. It doesn't matter who you plug in. You could have Babe Ruth. You could have the best closer in baseball. I swear to God, if they had the best closer in baseball, his ERA might be 5.43 just because he's wearing a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. So I don't know how to change that, to be honest with you. At that point, it doesn't matter who the manager is because whoever slotted in sucks. That's just what happens. They could have Mickey Mantle, all right? All the greatest baseball players in the damn world, and it just seems all of their statistics would be the worst they've ever been. Career lows while playing for the Phillies. Now, why is that the case? You brought Dave Dombrowski in here to change the culture, and it takes time to change the culture. And I think he has changed a lot about this culture from within, all through the ranks. Yet, maybe it's unfixable. Maybe we're cursed forever. And I'm normally anti-cursed, right? Because I'm sure the Lions fans are saying the same thing. There's plenty of franchises that go through their version of pain, and the Eagles haven't won a Super Bowl for 50-plus years, all that stuff, right? How many Super Bowls? Oh, man, they're cursed. They're cursed. All franchises think they're cursed. You look at the Lions. All of them. I'm telling you, we all do. We just don't care about other losing streaks. The Boston Red Sox, when they were going through their whole issue of the Boston curse. Every team has one of their, or every city has one of their teams that think they're cursed. But it's so hard. It's so hard. What's up, Amadeo?
That's how you cue me in?
I mean, this is how it goes.
I'm at you, man. I'm at my breaking point. I'm literally, I'm Mr. Optimism. You know me. You know everything. I stress optimism.
I don't got anything. I have nothing. I just don't know how Joe Girardi is literally a goddamn idiot. I just don't know how you bring so many guys out for a second go around when it's literally setting you up for failure, when Bryce Harper is literally carrying the team on his goddamn back every single goddamn day when he shouldn't have to. But he still does, and you still find ways to lose.
What's crazy, too, is division rival. You won game 1 of this series. You're entering game 2, and you went into the night saying, I don't have my best bullpen pieces available. I hope and pray we can get through. What do you mean you hope and pray that you can find a way to squeeze through this thing with that problem? I mean, that's horrible, right? That is absolutely gut-wrenching to think that a manager is willingly going into that ball game with those circumstances and not trying to find ways to get creative. What you do is you throw Corey Knebel a third day. Sir Anthony really is my biggest focus. There's no way Sir Anthony can't throw. He's the guy. Go to him. You push the pace. That's what you do. You put your foot on the gas to just lay down and die when Bryce has an epic moment, an epic day is inexcusable from the manager.
Oh, exactly. It's the fact that it's what you brought up earlier. It's that what's the point of blowing out arms when you're probably not going to be involved when you're in August? When you're losing games in April, May, June, to this drastic ability. When you lose a 7-1 game to the Mets, when you lose a game to the Dodgers in LA for a chance to sweep 4 games with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, when Bryce Harper literally does probably one of the best moments so far out of many great moments that he's had in this city. 2-run bomb go ahead, and you bring out Nick Nelson in the 9th inning to try to close the game, and he can't get it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they do. This is what they do. And I won't tell you that Bryce Harper home run was anything like we saw against the Chicago Cubs, but damn it was a big moment. And it's a moment that we are realistically going to look over because at this point, you just remember the loss. But if he brought you back, Jansen on the bump, Alec Boehm works a walk, tremendous, gets on base, you think, all right, Jansen, the way he worked that walk too, pretty easy, go on over to first base, and here's Bryce with the moon shot. That is epic night type of day on top of the fact that he had all those other RBI in there too, and it's somewhat just going to get looked over, which is just unfair for him. I did see a big donation come in, so I want to make sure I get that. I want to thank Cosmic Con for the donation, a $10 donation. This hurts, but kind of want Bryce. Sorry, let me read this again. This hurts, but kind of wish Bryce took the deal to go to San Francisco or LA. He deserved. Nah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything like that. No, the last thing I'm going to say is I wish Bryce Harper wasn't here. I appreciate the $10 donation, Cosmicon. I get it. You're kind of being facetious. I could see this being in a very sarcastic way. You're saying, Bryce, you don't deserve this misery. You're too great of a player. He did go through some pain in Washington as well, and then leaves Washington, watches his own former squad win a World Series. So he's been through a lot of trauma in that department, so this is almost just a part of it, but it's not anything because of what he's doing. It's just unfortunate circumstances. But when you get paid $300+ million, this is part of the price you pay when you take on this city and you take on that contract and you say, I'm going to play for the Philadelphia Phillies. This slop comes with it, and that's part of what the $330 million was all about, right? So unfortunately, I'm not with you there, Cosmicon. I'll take Bryce Harper here any day of the week. You're right. This team would be unwatchable without him, and we experienced that last week a couple games when he had the injection and he was out some time, and it was a miserable experience. And even with him in here, not because of him, he's the only one that gives us some sort of optimism, but at the end of the day, it still ends up being the same result, which is a miserable experience. And I don't know what I am going to do to battle through this pain. I'll be there. I'll be grinding, just like every single one of you. We'll all be sitting through this slop. But it's going to be long because breaking point in May And this is what happens. Sort of like the bullpen. One decision snowballs into 4 games later. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I don't have that same rate that I'm able to sustain 3 months of baseball to hope and pray that it changes, right? 2 years ago, hey, they're not playing with Franco and Odubel and, that slop at the top of your lineup. You have Bryce Harper, you got JT, you got Reese. So there's a little more life to the party. You're feeling good about things. So a few years back, you can hold these emotions and bottle them in until July, until August. Then the epic collapse happens. Gabe Kapler, Carlos Santana is smacking television screens. I mean, the list goes on some of the things that we had to go through. But you can have the feel-out process last longer. Now we're at May, and I'm in the same spot as I was July or August because the snowball effect. Year after year. The shelf life doesn't last as long. Let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Broach Media.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a couple of thoughts because everyone else had all good points, so I'll just name them pretty quickly. So
okay.
My first one is a while back during the Rangers series. I called in and said that they reminded me of last year's team, and
yes.
then you said it was too early.
Yes, I did.
So that's a little nostalgic.
Yeah.
So the second point is that they're just the worst version of the Mets, which we're Phillies fans. That sucks to say, but
no, I mean, over the years, the Mets have meted more than the Phillies phillied, which is saying a lot. But at this point, yeah, I mean, the Mets are winning baseball games. They have a lot of injuries, and they're at the top of the NL East, which seems to be a bit of a disaster again when you're looking at even the Braves. The Braves aren't anything amazing right now. They had horrendous defense in the first game of this series, and they're not doing anything overwhelming. So, yeah, I mean, I would say over the years, though, the Mets have meted more than the Phillies have been their version of horrendous baseball. But right now in this moment, that's kind of irrelevant to me.
But my last point is, I am just like, it's no matter what players they get, I realized over the time that if you go to the Phillies, you'll have the worst season of your career. I mean, think about it. Like, I just have a list. Like, J.P. Crawford and Carlos Santana had their best seasons away from the Phillies. Segura, Castellanos, Rowe, Mito, Schwarber, even Scott Kingery all had their worst seasons.
Scott, you lost me at Scott Kingery here, okay? Where is Scott Kingery thriving? Andrew Knapp didn't thrive. But, I mean, Gene Segura, he had his one bad year when he first got here. Underwhelming season and all. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely truth to Carlos Santana becoming an all-star. I hated the way that they approached walks that season with him and Rhys Hoskins. So there was a level to that for sure. And speaking of walks, there is a stat out there in regards to Bryce Harper. Because early in this game, he took hacks in the beginning of his at-bats, and it was Bryce Harper seen 2 total pitches in his first 2 at-bats tonight. He continues to be really aggressive at the plate. Only 11 walks this season, and he's on pace for 41. He walked 100 times last year. His 429 OBP last year, 340 OBP this season. This is courtesy of Sean Kane of NBC Sports. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where you're at for that. Just to look at it from a walk level and things of that nature, I knew that kind of triggered something that I remember seeing during this game. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, guys do seem to have... The thing about J.P. Crawford is I can't tell you that a J.P. Crawford, if you look at his stats, how old is he now? Maybe 27? J.P. Crawford is 27 years old. He played for the Phillies at 21, 22. Well, I don't know what a 27-year-old J.P. Crawford's going to be. And look, the track record of the Phillies is not great. So by no means am I going to stand my ground and tell you it would have been perfect. It would have been great. He would be rocking and rolling and hitting 285 like he is this season. Although Alec Boehm has done a nice job in Philly pinstripes as a prospect that we've been watching and whatnot. But anyway, I feel that it's hard to say that he wouldn't or would be something at 27 here compared to when he first got caught up in the majors and was hitting 214. His first year in Seattle, he hit 226. It's just over really last year and this year he's turned it around, but that's just the nature in growing in sports too, which I don't know how it would have played out. I can't give you JP. Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's always been hot and cold. Kyle Schwarber has had bad months. If you're referencing Boston Kyle Schwarber, of course, he's not living up to that level of hype, but there was a lot more to Kyle Schwarber in regular seasons, in early stages of the season, in early months of the season, where if you're just picking and choosing the hot version of Kyle Schwarber, yes, we haven't really got to experience that or appreciate that level yet, but there's always been downs of Kyle Schwarber throughout seasons. Your brain from a distance when he's not on your team, though, only remembers the really hot months and things of that nature. But realistically, once again, that's kind of blah and irrelevant what J.P. Crawford's doing this and that. What's relevant is this team's disastrous play of baseball, and it will never end. It will never end. It's going to be caught into the Philadelphia air forever. So embrace it. So embrace it. We'll go right back to the phones. If my mouse will work and allow me to pick up the phone call, it's almost like, nope, you don't want to be on today. I got it. Boom. All right. Welcome. You're on the air.
Hi. I made a comment about Scott Kingery earlier. I meant like when he signed with the Phillies, he got immediately bad.
Who's
That's
this?
what I meant.
I'm sorry. I got you. We don't do double call-ins here, so. But Skylar wants them to get a bullpen and it will change. I think they need to manage their bullpen better, Skylar. That's what they need to do. They need to manage their bullpen better so you don't go into nights without guys that you need. Your back-end guys that you desperately need. That's problem one. I'm not telling you I love their bullpen by any means. I don't love their bullpen. But you could find ways to manage it better, to put your team in a better position to win. And Joe Girardi did not do that tonight. Back to the phones. Hello.
Hey, bro. It's Michael calling from Missouri. And just got after watching that game. And it's just blowing my mind how putting James Norwood in the sixth inning tied was the second worst decision you could make as a manager in a game.
You're absolutely right. That's pretty damn funny. You're right.
Mm-hmm. But what it comes down to is it's just, you said it yourself, it's every other game with him, with this team.
Right.
And it just, mm-hmm. But what you said is that, like, this team is a bunch of losers who don't deserve that. Like, I disagree. They deserve a better manager. I mean, despite themselves, they just came back against the defending champions, albeit who are hungover. Despite themselves, they deserve a better manager than him.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, right? Gabe Kapler stinks. He's awful. They deserve a better manager. Well, he goes to San Francisco and he seems to be doing all right. Joe Girardi, they deserve a better manager. You're going to get a manager that's going to look. Joe Girardi was awful tonight. There's way too much emphasis on every little detail of Joe Girardi to this point with all the games played. He had his fingerprints on a couple of games, not as much as everyone wants it to be. But you're going to bring in another manager, and let me just be clear here. It's irrelevant unless Nick Castellanos plays better, Rhys Hoskins hits homers. You know, all these things need to change on the field. Like, do they deserve a better manager? I would like something new at this point. I don't care about Joe Girardi, but if you keep everything the same and Joe Girardi's moved and a new manager comes in, unless those other pieces change with it, which is production from guys that you expect, we're going to still be screaming and upset and very disappointed in a lot of losses.
You're very right. And now that I think about it, because I think he's not the only problem. You said it yourself. He's not the only problem. It's frustrating.
I know.
Especially after games like this.
I know. I'm right there with you. I think that's kind of just the best way to put it towards the end is it's a frustrating watch and it burns you inside. And when you see a night where the manager does lose you the game, that's when all of it pours out. And tonight is a night where, you put the highlight on him, no doubt. There were other key factors here, though. I mentioned JT striking out. I mentioned Roman Quinn striking out. And there was another one, the Segura home run. the Castellanos strikeout. These things all happen that if you scored a couple runs there, you're in a different position towards the end of the game. So if those players executed, maybe we're in a different position. But you had a chance to win in that ninth inning, and Joe made a horrendous decision and made a horrendous decision earlier where you finally did something well, and within a blink of an eye, the Braves took the lead again with the Matt Olson homer. So tonight is a night where I stress the managerial moves and how much that really hurt you. But I mean, managers in baseball, they don't impact as much as you would like to. There are moments that you can key in on, and this is a moment that you could key in on. But to act as if all this stuff stays the same and you just flip-flop a manager, you're automatically going from a 73-win pace to a 92-win pace. It doesn't work to that level. I still want change, though. I prefer change. This guy doesn't do anything for me. We have $5 donation coming in from Skylar. Castellanos only looked good a Great American small part. Well, no, I mean, that's not true. He had a good start to this season. He's just in a slump. It's almost like baseball hitters go through slumps. He definitely does do okay in certain situations. It's just right now he's going through a little bit of a rut. He just needs to snap the hell out of it. Going through his splits, let's go to his career. Let's go to ballparks. This will be how we kind of wrap things up here. Let's see. We'll go down to ballparks. Oh, that's just the opponent. Oh, here you go. Ballparks. In Detroit, back in the day, hit a 287. In Philadelphia, he hits 297. So close to 300 in Citizens Bank Park, which is crazy considering how much others this team seems to struggle in general. 313 in Cincinnati. 298 in Cleveland. Miami, 257, but only 39 plate appearances. Just looking around, though. Yeah, and CBP, he's almost hitting 300. He's got 4 homers and 14 RBI. I demand more, but I'm just looking around. All right, everyone. That's my outrage. That's my disappointment. That's where we are tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're looking to buy tickets, by the way, for any sort of event out there, you can utilize the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout for first-time users, and that will allow you to get $20 off of your purchase. So that's free parking. It eliminates those fees, or it's a free beer. Promo code BROADS, SeatGeek's checkout page, and then hit the subscribe button if you're new. And also, lastly, social media. At Broads Media on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.